welcome one and all. Adam has a podcast, episode 20. With it, a milestone, guys. Let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about how I look today. I feel like I look like one of them, emo guys who's in an emo band in 2000. Cause tonight will be the night that I will fall for you. I feel like that's what I look like right now. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror when I flip my cap backwards. I like to flip my cap backwards when I'm talking to people because the bill just casts a bit of a shadow over your face and stuff like that. So I like you to be able to see me. So when I'm on stage, you'll see me with a backwards cap. But when you see me in real life, front-facing cap. But that's a bit of cap knowledge for everyone right there. And I'm wearing a cap on stage. Flip it round. Let people see you. Let them see your expressions. You see that when we were so last time? You can barely see half my face, can't you? Half my face is covered up there. What's been going on this last week? Oh, let's start with this. Saturday this week, I went to Matt's house, my mate Matt, if you don't know Matt Downey, shout out Matt Downey, and I ran to his house. Matt's house from mine is somewhere between 2.5 and 3 miles away from my house. So it was about, all in all, I think it was about 5.7 miles or something, in that kind of pocket. And let me tell you, I am not used to running 5.7 miles. I am when I played hockey, I was running that on a regular basis on a weekend at training multiple times a week. Now I'm barely getting out for a run. When I'm running 5k, which is about 3 miles. So this is a lot more. Let me tell you, boy, was I knackered. It's uphill to get to his house as well. So slogging it all the way up there. Oh my days, it was knackering. But then you also have that thing in your mind of well, I can walk. Yeah, of course I can walk, but it's just going to mean I'm going to be travelling for longer. So any time I had the energy to run, boom, I'm running it. I'm running up that hill. If only could, you know what I'm saying? I was running up that hill, Kate Bush style. So, boom, did that. Got to his house. We had a chat for about 10 minutes. Collected some stuff that I had delivered to his house, wrestling cards if anyone's interested. Topps Chrome Value Box 2026. Got nothing out of it. Anyway, long run for nothing in the end because of that box. So went there, caught him for a little bit, see how he was, stuff like that, and then ran back. Oof, my body has been howling since. Yeah, we're not bothered about the running part. Let me tell you about this. My body's been howling, my back. Knackered. Every time I've been sat in a car since, and I get out of, if the car's a low car, like a regular style car, and I'm getting out, I'm like that, look, let me get out here, love, I'll be alright. Oh, just give me 1 second. Oh, it's been a real graft for me getting out of those seats, even getting out of my chair at home, my chair, I feel like a we're getting out of my chair, it's difficult. That's how I feel nowadays after that run especially. So, yeah, I need to keep getting out there, keep running, keep active. But I think that's actually the longest run I've ever done in terms of just going out running. I think it's about 8 or 9k, something like that. Maybe I think it's 8.8, something like that. I did the calculations. Usually I do a 5k. So it's the longer run that I've done just for the sake of running. And so it's nice to have that under my belt. So I know I can do it now going forward. So I think I'm going to maybe keep dipping my toes into the 5Ks, doing that kind of thing. Just get a little bit healthy. I'm coming up to 40. 40 will be here like that. Before you know it, I'll be doing a podcast going, it's my 40th birthday this week, and I need to be healthy. I know I need to be healthy because you can't get it back, can you guys? So that's been on my mind, and yeah, aching body. Otherwise, being at home, being at home when you've got an aching body, that's where you want to be. And I've been watching this Legends on Netflix. So we've been watching this Legends. It's got Steve Coogan in. And just from the little preview trailer that they show you on Netflix, I'm watching it and I'm like, this is going to be class. This is going to be the next Baby Reindeer. This is going to be the next, what was that thing with Stephen Graham in it with his son? You know the one I'm talking about. It's not quite at that level, but it's those are obviously it is. This is like a high B, like a B plus level, maybe A minus, but it's a really good show. Really, really enjoyed it. It's about the trafficking of certain products. It's a real life story from the 80s, and then a bunch of office workers get hired to basically be undercover guys, and they're all looking for a bit of excitement or something a bit more interesting. Some of them take pay cuts, and then you start to see how they transition into being undercover officers. You start to see what that underworld scene was like a little bit in those days. Now I actually know someone, so Pakistan's mentioned in this show that they were getting certain things from Pakistan through Turkey and all that stuff to the UK. Produce. I actually know someone who back in the day, at least one person back in the day, who was offered to be one of these runners, like help bringing it over, and that person was like, no, not like, even taking the moral thing out of it, because morally they disagreed with it, but they were saying, listen, yeah, it's very good financially, but besides financially, everything else is terrible about this thing, so absolutely not going to do it. So it was interesting seeing what this kind of stuff was looking like. Obviously, it's all recreations of it all and stuff like that, but interesting and enjoyable. And yeah, I could go for a season 2 of that. So yeah, if you've not seen it already, watch Legends. I'm not going to spoil the ending, not going to spoil much of the story for you. But yeah, watch it if you want to see some office workers have to transition into becoming undercover operatives, let's just say. Interesting show. Should I Marry a Murderer? Let's talk about this though. This is on Netflix and it is a documentary that will make you want to shout at the television, because you're listening to this woman tell her story and you really, really want to be on her side. However, there's so much that she does where you're just like, I'd be pulling my hair out, but I don't have much of it left, so I couldn't. So I'm screaming at the TV and I'm biting my nails. All this stuff because I'm like, no, don't do it. It's like, you know, you see in, when you see a horror film, you're like, no, it's behind you, love. Quickly run, it doesn't matter if your towel falls off, just get out of there, run, he's gonna ching ching you up. It was like that. So the story of it's a documentary, so you might know the story already, you can't really spoil the documentary, so let's just talk about it. The idea of it is this lady, she's in some kind of medical field, I think she does autopsies and stuff like that in Glasgow Hospital, and she comes out of a long-term relationship and she's a bit downhearted, and then she ends up meeting this guy on an online dating app, and this guy's from rural Scotland and he lives a couple of miles away, and she basically says that because he lives a couple of hours away, because he lives so far away, every day is like quite intense, because like you're staying over if you go in that distance. It's a 4-hour round trip, well 4 hour plus in traffic, so you're not really going to go up there and come back. So like, you know, what she's trying to say is things escalated very quickly just from dating. Obviously you got to read between the lines, and at first you're going along with it, like, yeah, okay, that's understandable. You're travelling all that way, so that's why you're staying over. I guess that makes sense. He's out in the sticks, so maybe you don't want to be driving back. It's dangerous on those roads. That's a bit of a ominous Easter egg for later on. And they get into this hot and heavy relationship where it's to the point where I think they'd only been together about 6 months and they were engaged already. She'd taken him home to meet the family on Christmas and all this stuff. And right around that time, he confesses to her, or at least this is her story, that it was around that time. He confesses to her that he'd had someone off. And she's like, whoa, what do you mean? Like, how did this come about? How did it happen? I need more details of this. You're the man that I love. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Surely it was justified in some way. And he's going, right, what was happening was I was driving late at night and I was blinded by the lights of another car in the other direction, and just as that happens, I end up knocking into a cyclist, and he was a goner straight away. So me and my brother, we panicked, we were in the car together. I'd had a few, so you know I wasn't supposed to be driving either. So I thought, okay, his life's over, mine will be too. Me and my brothers as well. So we buried him, and that's what they said, that they buried him. And she's like, oh man, she's trying to get to grips with this. And she's like, this is absolutely awful. Like, this poor bloke's family, they go back, he's sleeping, she's awake, she can't sleep. And he's like, oh yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me. And she's Googling cyclist missing and the rough dates. And she finds this guy. And this guy was doing like a charity bike ride, and that, like, from one end of Scotland to the other, I think it was. And that's why he was on this road. And he was maybe a bloke in his 50s with family of his own and stuff like that. Now she's starting to feel even worse. This is her story that she's saying. The reason why I say that will come clear later on. So she doesn't know what to do. She sits on it for about a month. That's interesting, isn't it? I am no grass. However, if I found out someone who I'd only known for 6 months, regardless of how much I felt for them, had done that, I think I'd have to tell. As a Muslim, I feel so bad for that man's family. I got to be like, listen, code of the street's nothing. I'm not a street guy. I don't count myself as a G member or anything like that. It's not me, right? That's not my lifestyle. I don't profess that to be my lifestyle. I'm a stand-up comedian. I think I'd have to. I'd feel so bad for the guy's family. I'd feel like this guy was cheated out of life and someone done it to him. That's how I feel. Anyway, she's trying to play this as like, yeah, I wanted to tell the police, but I didn't know how to tell the police. I'm like, wait a minute. I've known how to ring 999 since I was 6. Like, what are you telling me? You didn't know how to do it. Like, that don't add up. She works in the medical profession. She knows that number. She knows. She's like, I'm not sure. Well, Google it. How do you report this? How do you report that? You could just do that kind of thing. But she didn't do it. She sat on it for about a month. Eventually, I can't remember how, but she tells the police, right? Anonymously, obviously they're not telling the police that, oh yeah, it's your missus that's dogged you in here. So it's kind of an anonymous thing in terms of he doesn't know who's done it. Anyway, him and his brother get out of like being like questioned by the police, and they go and stay at her house, and she invites them back in, and she's going, yeah, it's because they turned up, and I felt like if I didn't let them in, they'd know it was me who dobbed them in. And then you're thinking, okay, I kind of get that. Obviously, they've done this man. They could do it to you. You're scared in this circumstance. Then something happens where they're now allowed to go back home and they don't have to stay with her. They go back home. She goes and stays with them. Like, what is going on? Surely you could just say, listen, I've got to stay here for work. No, she went and stayed with them. They're doing all kinds of, they're doing the Charlie White thing, a bit of flake. They're drinking heavily together. They're in that party lifestyle. What are you doing? What are you doing, love? Like, I don't understand. Like, I wanted to reach in and save her and be like, no, it's okay. You don't need to be with this guy. You've dobbed him in. It's fine. You'll find love elsewhere. She's already with another guy in real life. I'm pretty sure she wasn't with another guy in real life. In this documentary, she wouldn't even done the documentary, but she would be like, yeah, I'll probably get back with him when he's out. And it won't surprise me to see her get back with him when he is out. But it's a mad documentary. It takes you on this like roller coaster ride of like, oh, great for you getting together, and then, oh my God, you find out this. And oh my God, you're going to tell the police, but oh no, you're not going to do it yet. Oh, now you've done it, but now you're letting him stay with you. Oh, but it's like this all the way. Honestly, very good documentary. It's about Scotland, so kind of relatable if you're in England, so I'd recommend that. Kevin Hart's Funny AF finished, and that, again, gave me anxiety. I was watching the semi-final, the final, being like, wow, you're live on Netflix here. You've got to deliver. And Osama Siddiqui was the guy who I kind of got behind, because I can't remember the guy's name who I liked originally, but it's the guy who ended up breaking up with his missus partway through the show, his fiance. And he was the guy who I thought, this guy's the best comedian. That's just what I thought. Like, as an observer, watching it, not knowing any of these people, me looking at it as a stand-up, I'm looking at it going, he's the guy I think is the best comedian. He's the guy with the best craft. He's the guy that he's not relying on gimmicks, anything like that. He's just straight up stand-up, and it's really, really good stuff. And then you find out that he breaks up with his missus, and then the episode after you find, that episode that you find that out, he ends up getting knocked out, and he puts on a subpar performance, and you're like, no, mate. It made you really feel like it might be scripted, because you're like, it's just too, perfect's the wrong word, it's just too macabre that, like, you've just had your fiance break up with you. They made a joke about it going, no, you're the one who's supposed to break up with her once you get bigger and once you start getting all this experience, not the other way around. So this happens, and then on that show, you end up getting knocked out, so you've lost your big chance, your big break, and you've also lost your partner, and it's like, no. So then I'm thinking, right, who do I like? The next guy that I liked was Osama Siddiqui. Osama Siddiqui was like, from the first time I saw him on stage, I was like, this guy's really good. There's no dispute about it. This guy's really good. Audiences love him. Fast forward to the final. We won't even talk about the semi-final. Fast forward to the final. You're watching Osama Siddiqui come on stage, and the audience are standing applauding this guy walking on stage. Bear in mind, this time last month, he worked on Netflix. Yeah, he had a social media presence. He's got like 400,000 followers, I think, so it's a big presence. but like he's not like a megastar. But the fact that he's walking on stage in a final and people standing up and applauding, that's what people do in a football game for the stars that they look up to, that they pay the good money to see every single week. People don't do that at stand-up. So it was amazing to see that response from him. And then, I'll be honest, and he'll probably say it as well, I didn't think he had his best set. From all the ones that I've seen and thinking he's brilliant from the very beginning, seeing that I was like, oh, I'm not sure of this actually. Like, I'm not sure he's going to... I thought he was still a strong contender, but I thought he's not hit the heights that he has on all the other ones. And he made it to the final two. That's how strong of an act he is, that even though he didn't do his best, he made it to the final two. And he just about lost out. But what an opportunity, what a show. Respect to everyone who even made it on that show. I'd love them to do a UK version. But I would be so devastated if they did a UK version and I wasn't on it. I'd be like, no, I want to be on this so much. I'm a fan of this show. Speaking of being a fan of stuff, and like Akash Singh is coming to the UK in October and November. Man, that's another person I'd love to open for. I'd love to go. I'm going to go see him in Manchester either way, but I'd love to open for him. That's something else that like I'm a fan of, and I just love to be involved. And it's that thing in stand-up where you feel like it could happen. It's not likely to happen, but it could happen, and it's like, oh, if I could just make this happen, it'd be incredible. I'd absolutely love that. I'd absolutely be like all over it, and like just, yeah, incredible stuff. Locally, what's happening? Well, there's a... I think, did I mention last time that we're starting a gig at 151? We're doing 151 comedy in Bolton in the Pokemon card shop. That is now fully booked. We have got a great lineup for that lined up. I'm going to be hosting. Jack Kelly's opening up the show. In the middle, we have got Phil Milton and Matt Downey, and closing the show, we've got Danny McLaughlin. It's going to be, for a Monday night, that is a power lineup. That is such a class lineup for a Monday. And you're going to get great value for money. So anyone local to Bolton who can come down to that show, I highly recommend you coming down there. My fees are saying whether it sells out or sells off. I think it's going to sell out. I'm pretty confident it'll sell out. But if you're watching this, I like you and I want you to be at the show. Recommend you go and do that. Recommend you come along to that show. Because I think it's going to be class. And I think last time I said, when I did my last podcast, I said I didn't have any gigs coming up. Well, lo and behold, what ended up happening? So Thursday, I record these on a Wednesday, just so you know, and I release them on the Wednesday. I put them straight online, upload it, takes a few hours. That's how internet works, and then goes live on Thursday. Perfect. Thursday, me and Matt were supposed to go down to 151 and have a bit of a business meeting with them. I'm chatting with them all the time about these things, but I thought it'd be good for us both to have a chat with them and to let Matt kind of take the lead a little bit and like get involved in those discussions a little bit more, so I can like help prop him into the position where, I think I discussed this last time as well, he can run it going forward after I'm no longer in Bolton. Like, I think that'd be great. He can run it, you know, when I'm, especially year or 2 years time down the line, not coming back for it, is short, is baby, and he just nails down every single detail and knows everything. So anyway, we're supposed to go and do that on Thursday night. 1 minute, this is 8 p.m. Thursday, we're supposed to be doing that. 1 minute past 3 on the Thursday, I get a message from Ben Godridge. And he's like, hey mate, any chance you can come do a middle in Farnworth tonight? And I'm thinking, oh no, it must have been the Wednesday. Maybe I talked about this gig anyway. Did I talk about this last time? Well, I can tell you how it went. I got the phone call at 1 minute past 3 anyway. He goes, can you come in middle? I'm like, well, I really want to stay home and watch the Champions League. It's Barcelona versus, it's PSG versus Bayern Munich. I really want to watch this. But I thought, you know what? Nah, let's take it. I like Ben. Let's take the gig. Let's go down there and do it. So boom, went down there. It was a nice sunny day, so I walked it down to Farnworth. Beautiful, literally a stroll down memory lane. Exactly what I love. I love walking to these places where I used to hang around when I was younger, and I get to like relive those times when I'm walking down there, right? Great. I get there, and last time I did it, I think I did the first one there, it was like a packed room. This time it was like a little bit less packed. It was still like immediately close to the stage. That area was all full. And then, but last time it's just a bit more stretched out into other areas of the pub where you can't really see that well. So those seats don't really matter as much, but obviously you want as many people as possible there because that's just a better atmosphere. But yeah, some of those wider areas just weren't as full. So, and then the audience, they're a bit quieter, and Ben's on stage, he's doing his MCing, and he's trying to, like, you know, get them into the show, but it's hard, you know, when it's a smaller crowd and it's a bit more intimate, and maybe they've seen you a few times as well, to they might feel like you're treading over the same ground with them. Oh, what do you do for a job? Well, you know, you spoke to me last time, these things happen, right? So anyway, he's going up there, does a decent job. Maura Jackson goes on first, and she's getting them going and stuff like that. But again, they're just being a bit sticky. They're just not really like being alive for stand-up. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm from Farnworth. I'm going to go up there and literally just start with talking about being from Farnworth. Not really doing material, but just cracking jokes like you would just talking being from the area. And got them on side straight away. Really locked into that energy. They really locked into mine. And we had this nice symbiotic relationship of just like riding this wave and like bouncing off each other, and like so much fun. So much fun being able to gig him. I mean, I'll be honest, when I gig in Farnworth, I feel like I'm living an episode of Shameless. Because I remember Shameless started serving about 2003-ish. And I was at the back end of school then. I was knocking about in Farnworth a little bit more, in the centre as well, with me mates, knocking about. So not just was this show on TV, but I was kind of living this kind of lifestyle a little bit, not volume turned up to 11 like you see on the show, but like enough that like the experiences they were having, it was relatable enough to me. Not like mega relatable, don't get me wrong, I can't say I was doing a lot of that stuff, but you know, relatable enough. But then when I go and like, I never spent time in pubs in Farnworth when I was a kid, like only cricket clubs maybe. Like I don't think I ever really spent time in any pub that I can think of in Farnworth anyway. But now as an adult spending time in Farnworth, it takes me back to that last time that I was in Farnworth, when Shameless was the big show on TV, when it was that lived experience. It just makes me really feel that kind of like, it's a certain energy, it's like hometown, like people will call Farnworth like an S-hole, right? But it's one of those where it's like, yeah, but it's my asshole. And I absolutely love it. And I love being there. I love the people. Even the people, there's a guy there from London. I love the fact that he's moved from London and he's living in Farnworth now. I love that. And I love people who like come and live in Farnworth, and people who are already from Farnworth and all that kind of stuff. The people there, they're literally my people. They're my kind of people. The kind of people that I want to spend time with. So boom, straight away getting on stage. Oh, I learned to swim just up the road and cracking jokes about that. And oh, the big Asda over there, and this and that and this. What a time that was. Really, really, really had a good time in Farnworth. I'm looking back to going and doing that in the future. And this is another part of it as well, is obviously I'm planning on leaving Bolton soon. So the fact that he offered it me, I thought, you know what, that went into it as well of like, no, let's go there and let's do it while I'm here. Because when I move away, I was happy with the fee that he gave me. And to be fair, he sweetened it for me as well. But I don't know if I'd be travelling in a distance if I'm not living in Bolton anymore for those kind of fees, because like again, ideally as you go along in stand-up, you want to be able to garner bigger fees as you go on, and obviously the further away that you are going, the less the chance you have of doing the gig. Like, so for example, if someone offers me like a gig for X amount in Bolton but X amount in Southampton, it's the same money, probably won't be able to do Southampton, but I could do the Bolton one. But you know, you'd have to sort of sweeten it away a lot. Anyway, took advantage of doing it and was really, really happy with it. Really, really. In fact, I'm now thinking of going back and watching Shameless from the beginning on Netflix and going back through that journey. And that's something that I love doing. I used to watch the DVDs all the time when I was in college, uni. I'd get to the end of the DVDs, boom, start them all over again the next day. And that would be my process, just constantly watching the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I think I'll get back into that, like a stream of watching Shameless. And yeah, thank you very much, Ben, for the gig. Really appreciate it. Love to come back in the future, but again, won't be able to do the middle. You gotta push yourself into these other positions. I know that I can do those positions. It's just being able to get those opportunities. Speaking of opportunities, there is a comedy club called Trapdoor Comedy. Now, they run one gig in the city centre of Manchester. They also run one gig in Didsbury, which I believe is North Manchester, South Manchester, I don't know. It's posh anyway, let me tell you that much. It's posh. And same scenario. A gig came available for them to open the show on Monday afternoon time. So I sent the message thinking like, I'm probably not going to get it, but I'll send this message in because even if I don't get it now, if you just keep emailing, eventually, as you get better as well, get better stuff, get a bigger profile, you stick in his memory more, you'll eventually get it. And to be fair, I've done it loads of times, emailed for it, not got it. However, this time, got the email back. Hi Adam, yeah, brilliant. Can you get here for 8 o'clock, whatever you said, maybe 7:45. Short time, 8 o'clock. Can you come down and do it? Yes, 100% yes, I can come down and do that. So, boom, all of a sudden now, it's someone that I've done the middle for in Manchester, I've done the middle for in Didsbury. Now I'm doing the opening spot, which is higher paid. So, boom, get to go in there and do that. This was an interesting one, so I get there, like I said, done it before. This one is like, it's in the back of a pub near the tram station at a pub called the Railway. And it is literally like, I would say it's a back room of a pub, but I think that is actually over glorifying it. It's a section of the pub which is curtained off, which is fine. They've made it into a room with a curtain and it becomes playable all of a sudden. Because what you don't want is it to just be in the back of a pub with no curtain and all of a sudden people are walking past, looking in, and disruptions, and you're hearing loads of noise from elsewhere in the pub. You can hear little bits from elsewhere in the pub, but not a lot, to be completely honest with you. A lot of the noise is just a curtain, managed to eliminate a lot of that noise and stuff like that. So boom, great. Tony Basnick's the MC. Me and Tony both wrestling fans, so straight away I'm there. Did you watch Backlash? Because Backlash was the WWE pay-per-view this weekend. We might get to that in a little bit. But when we start talking about that, we start bonding over it, and we're saying what we like at the moment, what we don't like at the moment. We're talking about other wrestling companies. I like that. I like talking to other comedians about stuff that's not stand-up. Because the thing that happens with other comedians is it's like getting a text like, oh, you've been busy, mate. You got much in the diary? Like, it's generic work chat and it's not very interesting. So a lot of comedians will tell you about this. Like in a green room, you think, wow, green room. Wow, show business, behind the scenes. Like, I wonder what's going on back there. It's literally just like 2 or 3 of us sat around being like, have you gigged for this person? What about this? Have you seen what this person's put online the other day? Ooh, goodness me, I can't believe they did that. It's a bunch of that over and over again. Oh, what's the traffic like? Oh, I've just been for a takeaway. Might get this on the way home. I like this takeaway that's in between this and me house, so I'm going to drop by there. It's literally just chat like that. It's not bad, but it's not like enthralling conversation. But when you've got something genuine that you can chat with people about, that you've got a genuine interest with, especially something like wrestling, that there's not like a massive wrestling fan base out there. Well, there is, but like, you don't know that many people specifically that want to talk about it in depth. I love that. So boom, we're just chatting away. I'm not even thinking about the gig. AJ Hill turned up, who I don't know if he even does stand up anymore. I've not seen him in a long time, to be fair, but he used to do stand up. Used to be around a lot when I was first starting. Used to do like a French character, and he had like a cat called Marmalade, and he had like a remote control car with an adult toy on top of it. I don't know. Like I say, he might be doing that stuff. I don't know. I've not seen. Like I said, I've not seen him in a long time. This is what happens in stand-up: is you don't get to see people that often because you end up doing the same kind of gigs. So anyway, so he turned up. So it was nice to see people that you've not seen in a long time. And then I'm opening the show, boom, straight away on stage. And beforehand, I remembered that last time I enjoyed it, but I couldn't remember how good they were. But I had a really fun time again. Not as fun as I did in Farnworth because that's my hometown. But I had a really good time, and I'm there, and I'm rolling into references about the audiences, and I'm peeling the audience, and I'm chatting about that, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm aiming my conversation over here to the guy you can't really see because of the shape of the room, and I'm doing all this, and I'm having fun on stage, and that's the big thing as well, is that I'm really now, in the last year or so, maybe a bit longer, I'm really getting into the mode of like, not just trying to be good, but trying to enjoy myself on stage, trying to get in a position where I'm just having fun. And I guess it's a safety net in terms of like, if you're not having a great gig, at least you're having fun. But I'm already trying to be good. That focus is already there. But I can also focus on having a good time as well, because I've been definitely guilty in the past of just focusing on trying to be good, being a bit too robotic, and I think it comes across. And I feel like that's something that I want to get out of. And in the last year, I've been working on that. And it was definitely it's been working for me, and it definitely worked on Monday night in Didsbury for Trapdoor. So I'm hoping now this opens up again, because obviously they do that other gig in Manchester City Centre. Hopefully that opens up, that I can open that one now, because now he's seen that, okay, he can open the show. He can be trusted to go, do you know what? Boom. There you go, mate. There's the microphone. Kick off the show. You get us going. Because it's hard. It's hard opening the show. And don't get me wrong, I've failed so many times. And I'm not going to sit here and go, I'm the finished article and I can open any show up and down the country, because inevitably I'm going to end up coming up against an audience that I just cannot get going. Or maybe I mumble my words at the start and all of a sudden I don't have them on side. They've lost faith in me already, and I'm swimming against the stream to try and get them on side. And I've done that in the past as well. Hopefully though, touch wood, as time goes by, I become more and more of a trusted opener, and you can push on from there, because, again, that's where you get your bigger fees. And it's not all about the money, but it is about being able to do this as a full-time job and being able to support yourself, support a family off the back of stand-up. That is the dream. That's the dream, and that's where I'm aiming for. And again, touch wood, inshallah, I'll be able to do it one day with hard work. But yeah, those two gigs. And again, those two gigs really cemented in my mind as well. I say all that to say this. It's cemented in my mind that the most important ability is availability. Because it doesn't matter how good I am, how good I think I am, how good I actually am. None of that matters if I'm not available. If I cannot make myself available, like I did for these two gigs now. These gigs were kind of last minute gigs. I only had a couple hours before I had to get ready to, shower, leave home, get to the gig. Some people will be like, no, I can't do it. No, you got to make, in my mind, I'm like, boom, I'm going to make myself available for that. Make myself available for long distance gigs, which you're going to see. I'm going to talk about later on what I've got coming up. But honestly, if you're not available, it doesn't matter how good you are, because as good as you are, you sat in your bedroom being the greatest comedian in the world, not getting exposed to any audiences, any bookers, any other comedians, the industry, whatever, you're not going to get anywhere, or you're going to get there much slower. So be available, Adam. Speaking to myself right now. Be available. Be applying for last minute stuff. Keep at it. Keep trying to knock those doors down, because there's a million different doors. And sometimes they lead back to where you started, but you just got to keep knocking them down, keep knocking them open, and keep moving in the right direction. And again, inshallah, I'm going to get there. Touch wood. I'm going to be able to do that. But yeah. Confidence and ability wise, I'm happy with where I am, and I do feel like if I was given more opportunities, I'd be able to do them well. Whereas in the past, when you're on the open mic scene and you're starting, I remember being like, well, I love the opportunity and I hope I do well once I get it, but it's a coin toss if I do well. It might even be a dice throw, it might be a 1 in 6 chance if I do well in those days. Now I'm confident I'm going to do well. I'm sure that there's gigs out there that I've not done that I could go and open, or even middle, and go and do well and impress enough to be brought back for more gigs and stuff like that. But it's a mad road though, because as much as I'm confident like that, sometimes you doubt yourself, and sometimes you feel like you're not going to get anywhere because certain people don't book you. And we all, as stand-up comedians, we all want the clubs to be booking us, and then we want to do really well with the clubs to the point where agents want to get hold of us. It is something that I can talk about now that it's kind of come to fruition in a negative sense. I was talking about earlier this year, I had some big things potentially lined up, and I had some interviews and meetings and stuff like that. I had an agent who was very interested in signing me, and he was chasing me up, and I did a gig for him. It was Adam Rushton. He runs a Rush of Laughter comedy agency, and he saw me at his gig, and he was very complimentary of me afterwards, and other people around him were people who worked there, people that he knew, and he was like, listen, can we put in a meeting? And we had a meeting together, and it was really good and really positive, and then nothing was really happening, and it kind of fizzled a little bit, and I'd heard that he'd had some stuff going on himself, so I didn't want to push him and I didn't want to go down that route, because I felt like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I don't need to badger him into this. He's obviously interested. We'll just carry on conversation as we go in, and we're having back and forth and stuff like that. I'm looking over contracts and that. But ultimately, he's decided to shut down his comedy agency. So that's it. That's that. Then I won't be signing with him obviously now. I wish him all the best in the future. But I have asked him for contact details for agents that he would recommend that I get in touch with. So I'm going to get in touch with those people. And yeah, I'm going to see where I can go going forward. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be, because I feel like I'm in a position, again, I might as well talk about it. I feel like I'm in a position now where, like I was saying before, I feel good enough for bigger opportunities, or maybe broader opportunities, I should say, if not bigger. Broader opportunities, more opportunities around the same level, but in more different locations with more promoters and stuff like that. But there's so many gigs out there that I just don't even know about, that I could probably do with a promoter who is on my side, who is then going out there and getting some of those gigs on my behalf. And then I can go there and I can prove myself in front of those people. Agents, obviously, they take a percentage of your money, and it doesn't include your transport fees. So you take your transport, your hotel, and the agent fee off the overall fee, which isn't ideal, but listen, that's the way of the world, and I completely am willing to give that up to someone if they're going to get me the work. Because I think they get, let's say 15-20%, so let's call it 79%. If they can get me 17.6% more work and they're taking 17.5%, I'll take that deal all day. You take the money, I'll do all that extra work just for the opportunity. Like I said, for me, the money doesn't care. It's not all about the money. It's about getting those opportunities moving forward and eventually being able to do this full time. And if I can get exposed in front of all those people, which hopefully an agent could do for me, and that's where I want to be. And that's kind of my thinking. So my plan is to get in touch with some of these agents now in the coming weeks. I'm kind of toying him around what's the best way to approach them. He's given me all the email addresses, but I don't know specifically what my wording should be, how detailed I should be, but I guess I've got to woo them somehow. But I struggle with, I don't want to come across as arrogant. I don't want to come across as like full of myself. And even worse, I don't want to come across as someone who's over egging their own ability. But I guess this is the entertainment business. I guess everyone is doing that, and you've got to maybe do the same thing just to keep up with everyone else. I honestly don't know. But these are the things that go around in my head, and these are the self-doubt things that you have as a stand-up comedian. Is that I know that if I had an agent, on paper to an agent, you'd look at me and go, this is quite a good prospect for us. In terms of prospects, in terms of someone who hasn't already made it, in terms of someone who isn't already a full-time stand-up comedian, you can look at me and you can go, right, this guy's got 90,000 social media followers. Okay, so he has a base of people who enjoy what he does enough to follow him. Okay, that's that there. On top of that, he's been doing stand-up for 8 years, by the way. It's 8 years tomorrow. So I think the next one might be a special of just talking about all my favourite gigs I've ever done and stuff like that, looking back on the last 8 years. I think that might be what I do in the next episode. But again, you never know. I might completely forget about it, but that's kind of on my mind. But 8 years tomorrow. So put that there as well as someone. And it's not just in 8 years as well of like someone who does like, I do stand-up comedy maybe like quite heavily for a couple months and then I'll take 6 months. No, I'm not that person. I'm consistently doing stand-up. I'm doing it multiple times a week. I'm trying to pick up last-minute gigs. I'm trying to always be available. Ideally, I want to be doing comedy 4 times a week, 5 times a week if I can get them in. But 4 times for me is where I kind of put my benchmark of I want to do comedy 200 plus times in a year. I want to be available. I want to get better. I'm making myself an act who you can bank on, who I'm going to these gigs and I'm putting on a performance where people are really enjoying it. And I feel so cringy saying it because you don't want to be up yourself. And I don't, especially because this isn't a quantifiable thing. It's not like I can show a chart and be like, look, 87% of people laugh at 90% of their laughter capacity for 73% of my gig. There's no numbers that you can look at like that and then compare them against somebody else and go, well, look at this person over here. They only get 47% of the audience laughing at 32% of the... Do you know what I mean? It's not quantifiable. Again, I'll touch back on my old hockey days. I used to get a bad rep for my hockey days of being a bit arrogant, a bit too up myself. But all I would do is just talk about my stats, what actually happened. And with the sport, you can do that. You can go, well, look, I've scored 3 goals in the last 4 games. I'm on a hot streak at the moment. I should be starting up front today. That's a genuine thing that I could have a conversation about in the past. But with stand-up, because it's not quantifiable, people just go, oh yeah, I smashed that gig, I smashed this, I did great at that. Yeah, but everyone's idea of smashing a gig is different. Like someone who's brand new, if they get a few laughs, that to them is, oh, I did a really good gig. But to me, if I just get a few laughs in a show, I'd be like, oh, I didn't do well there at all. I bombed there because I only got a few laughs through myself. So your expectation is different, but I'm making myself into a stand-up who is reliable and getting good reactions from the crowd and people with great feedback afterwards. And it's always great when you get new followers after a show, or people tap you, give you a pat on the back and go, oh, really good that, mate, really enjoyed that. Like when I was in Didsbury, for example, one of the girls came out there and she was like, oh, you're the best opening acts we've ever had. And I was like, that's buzzing for me because I only got this as a last minute thing. When you get it last minute, it's because maybe nobody else is available. Nobody else maybe wants to make themselves available. You're maybe there because you're maybe the best out of a bad bunch, maybe. You honestly don't know. I got given that. A lot of people were pre-booked for that spot and turned up over the years of the about a couple of years that they've done it, whatever, as pre-booked because they were deemed as like an act good enough for that spot. And now that person is saying that I was the best one over years. So again, that's not like a concrete thing, but it just shows an example of like people enjoy what I do. And I know that like I can entertain the people. But yeah, how do I communicate that? Like, because right now I feel like I'm over-egging myself. Like, I feel like, oh, Adam, don't say that, you're sounding cringe. That's how I feel like, that's what's going on in my head right now when I'm saying it. So, yeah. Anyone, this is the thing, is anyone who played hockey with me, they'll go, he's not a self-doubt kind of person. I'm strutting around the pitch, mouthing off, I'm scoring goals, and I'm going, come on, what do you expect? That's what you get with Adam Manoir. Of course I scored after 15 seconds. Of course I just driven it into the top and like smacked it top corner. That's what you get from your boy. Of course I'm not celebrating. Well, I celebrate, it's normal. It's normal. They'll be saying that, but yeah, in comedy, it does get you your self-doubt trickling in, like, Adam, what you gonna do? Adam, don't say that. Adam, say this. And then, I don't know. Like me, please. I just want people to like me and then book me. That's what I want. And then let me just do my stuff on stage. Yeah, do my stuff on stage. Don't want people to like me. I want bookers to like me, absolutely. I want the industry to like me. Yeah, that is one set of people that I do want to like me. What have I got coming up in the next week or so? I mentioned about being available, being willing to travel and stuff like that. Thursday, the day this drops, I'm doing Baby Comedy in Sheffield. It's a daytime show. It's already sold out, so sorry you can't come. But this is going to be an interesting one. Baby Comedy is a show that's set up for like parents of new children. And obviously, when you're a parent of a new... It's going to be a lot of mums, basically, who are on the maternity leave. They've got their children. They're stuck at home with nothing to do. So the Plate in Sheffield is putting on an event. They've done numerous of them already. I don't know if it's always a sellout, but it seems to always be a success. This one's already sold out. First time I'm doing it. And it goes to show what a demand there is for this kind of a gig. How much people are desiring something to do during the day and not just be stuck with a baby. Of course, people love their children, but like anyone who's a parent out there, who's especially a mother who's been through maternity, you'll know like what it's like being sat at home all the time, just you and the baby, no adult kind of conversation, no activities that you can really do. So I'm really looking forward to doing this tomorrow. I'm not really sure in terms of performance how much it matters, because I feel like they're just happy to be out of the house. So anything I can do on top of that is going to be a pure bonus for them. So I'm hoping to just have a really good time with them. Riff with them a little bit. Obviously I plan on doing material, but yeah, I'd be riffing with them and like engaging with them, because that's another thing, is a lot of these people, they might be isolated. They might only really see themselves, their baby, and like their partner. And maybe what if they've broken up from the partner? Maybe that's all they've got at the moment. So I'm or maybe it was like a IVF kind of thing, or maybe like a sperm donor kind of situation where there is no partner, it's just them and they want to raise a child, which is absolutely beautiful. And now I get to perform for them and I get to give them a good performance, inshallah. So hopefully that's going to go well tomorrow. Then Friday, I'm in Coventry at Sky Lounge at a shisha bar. If you're in the area, come out to that. I'm excited for that. Smash Bengalis on it. I believe I'm closing the show, so I'm looking forward to that. Love it when someone goes, here you go. Remember I said before about being an opener, here you go, mate. We trust you to start the show, get them off going. I love being given that microphone to go, here you go, mate. We trust you to close this show. That's where you want to be. You want to be the attraction of the show. You want to be the thing that people go home and go, yeah, you know what? That guy on last there, absolutely brilliant. And he went in. That's what I want people to do. Whether they're going to think that or not, we'll find out in due course. But that's the aim, that's the goal. Alongside that, I need to remember to have fun, though. Remember before. And then Wednesday next week, 1 week today, I'm in Newcastle at the stand. So if you are in Newcastle, if you're based in Newcastle, if you're a follower of mine, come out to the show. Would love to see you. I've never gigged in Newcastle before, I don't think. Gigged in the northeast, like around like Middlesbrough kind of area, stuff like that. But I don't think I've ever gigged in Newcastle, so looking forward to this. And this is a trial with the stand. It sounds like I'm at court, doesn't it? I'm on trial at the stand. It's a trial spot. You get 10 minutes. I want to impress. I want to have a good time, but yeah, go. It's unpaid. I'm going to go all the way down there. I might have to stay overnight. Expensive train travel. I don't care about any of that. I just want the opportunity to be good. I want to be judged on that fairly. I want them to go, do you know what, Adam, this is what we think and we'd love to have you back. That's the goal. That's the dream. That's really where I want to be. And like, I'm really looking forward to it. Never done this gig before. And so many people really hype it up to me as well. Say it's like really good venue. So yeah, definitely looking forward to doing it. And the news is mad at the moment. Have we heard about this cruise that's like been going around and all these people have been caught sick on there? That's scary. That's like, it's like, to me it sounds like COVID version 2, but touch wood, it's not going to be like that kind of a thing. But all these people got some kind of rat flu or something like that, and then they're all stuck on a ship, so they kind of being quarantined. And anyone who's like getting back on land has to self quarantine, which again, that's why it's like bringing me back to those COVID days. Because you take something like a cruise that's supposed to be not just like a really fun experience, but it's supposed to be a glamorous thing being on a cruise. Quite often it's like a once in a lifetime thing. People, oh, this is my one time being on a cruise. I can't wait for it. And then you get there and you get this kind of rat flu or whatever. You'd be absolutely devastated that you spent all your money on. I mean, surely now they're all going to get refunds and they're probably going to give them probably going to get sued out the yin yang, to be honest, but they're probably going to offer them stuff like, oh, we'll give you all these like cruise vouchers or whatever so you can come cruise with us and get all your like drinks for free or what. I imagine they're going to offer them loads of that stuff. But after you've just been sick because there's rat poison, you're going to be like, absolutely not, mate. I ain't doing that. I'm bloody terrified of coming back on this cruise. So yeah, that scares me, the thought of that. Especially like you think of it like you work all this time, you get this week away. You're on holiday, you get to just chill out, and then that one thing is the thing that makes you sick and makes you like, I don't know like what the extremes of it is, but like it's not going to be good, is it? And I've heard people being a bit sick in the UK with a little bit of a bug, and that started to go around a little bit. I heard about 3 people who were feeling not too great this week, and I was like, it's not coming back, is it? We're not all going to end up being like saving up toilet papers and like fighting over hand sanitizer and having to queue up for pot noodles in the supermarket again. Like that, those were such like wild days. I can't believe like that was a time. At the time I tried to make the most of it but I felt that really set my comedy life back, to be honest with you, because you lost like 6 months, 18 months somewhere in that pocket of time where you should have been getting better as a stand-up, where you should have been like improving yourself. It just didn't happen. And as well, on the other side of that coin was a lot of people who never tried stand-up before were sat at home being like, right, I'm going to live my dreams when this finishes. And a lot of people started stand-up after it, which is great for them. Then it causes like competition in the marketplace. I don't mind competition. In fact, I welcome everyone who wants to try stand-up. But some people who just do it as like a passing fad, what they end up doing is end up taking spots from people who are dedicated, really trying at it. and then that person doesn't get to improve as much. So it's a weird kind of balance with all these things that happen. And I often wonder, like, where would I be now if I didn't lose those 6 or 18 months? I got like a paid gig just before it, and I was just starting. No, I got a couple actually, just started to get them just before. One was in Bury and one was somewhere on the other side of Manchester. I had to get a tram, I remember, after work. And yeah, because you just don't know how life would be different now. On a personal note, I ended up losing like 3 uncles in that time of all different things, but you never know, like, was it a knock-on effect from that? Did they get sick and it wasn't that bad, but it damaged something, and then this led to that, and you just don't know. So I tried to make the most of it. I think of those things as well, and like, my life probably was affected in a negative way by it, but I think that's a podcast, guys. With it over 50 minutes. All that's left is for me to thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who watches these. Whether you watch a few minutes, you check in here or there, you fast forward here or there, depending on what I'm talking about. I really, really appreciate it. And I really appreciate that, you stick in with me and you do this and you follow me, and whether you like this, subscribe, whatever it is that you do. Like, I genuinely appreciate it. And a shout out to you guys. I've got more fun stuff coming down the pipe for you. So keep an eye out for that. See you later.